Maybe, Laure, you want to continue with Dorica on the Eurordis activity connected to ITHACA?
Yes, super. So first of all, sorry, I missed to present myself, to introduce myself. So I'm Laure Aslanian. I work at Eurordis as patient engagement manager. And what I do is I support the IPAC groups, so the patient involvement in the ERNs. There are, as most of you know, 24 groups, and I support 9 patient groups. And what I'm going to give you today is a kind of some example of transversal activities that we have been leading at Eurordis related to patient engagement in ERNs, and of course linked to the ITHACA, ERN and IPAC's activities to be continued. So you will see some are new activities, other has to be continued. So just to give you a little bit of kind of the list of what we are doing. And all these activities are happening, taking place within a patient engagement framework. This is something that we are trying to do in parallel of all these activities that you will see. And we are trying to build this kind of practical framework around patient engagement in the ERNs. And we are following a little bit of structure which was developed within an European project, which is called Paradigm. You can see the link here on the slide. This project was more about developing patient engagement in life cycle of medicines, but it's still very interesting and still can be used within the framework of the ERN. So just to give you a bit of sense of this framework, we start with building the framework, of course, including the terms of references or rules of how to engage patients within the networks. We continue with the planning the patient engagement. So it is about collecting the needs of the patients, understanding the role, the representativeness, etc. of the IPAC advocates. We continue with the conducting the patient engagement framework. So it's connecting with the patient, with the patients and with the patient community, patient organizations. And finally, is about evaluating the patient engagement. So it is about measuring the impact of patient involvement in the ERNs. And this is what we are going to present you later on. So next one, please, Anne. Regarding the, what is about around building the framework, what we are going to do in the next weeks and months, the beginning of next year will be to revise and adapt a little bit the IPAC terms of references. So this document, for those who don't know, this is a short document that summarize the rules of patient involvement in ITHACA ERN. So, what is the role of an IPAC advocate, how to join, how to be also involved in the second level within the patient community, who is involved in which of the work packages, what is the time commitment, etc., etc. So, because also, we've done new election earlier in November. We have assigned a new chair. So, and co-chair, Dorica is now the co-chair, and Ami is the chair. The member of the patient council have been very slightly modified. So Gabor and Sue are also part of the patient council. So just to let you know that we will slightly change, just to amend a little bit this document. And we will continue to, and of course I will also need a little bit of your input just in case you need to change or you want to modify some of the sections in there. And we will continue to organize induction calls. So this is for the newcomers, the new IPAC advocate, the new people. And I'm thinking about Ines in this case today, and maybe others who would like to join, but they don't have any information about, how the ERN works, what is the role of an IPAC advocate, etc. So we continue to give this kind of induction calls more generally. And what we have to do internally within the ITHACA IPAC is to provide this kind of more individual call explanation to go through all the structure, governance, and to explain really to the new people, the new colleagues, how does it works, etc. So this is all for building the framework. Next one, please. About the planning, the patient engagement. So what we're going to do, and of course, what we've been also really active on is the development of patient journeys. So now you know that there are existing 5 patient journeys. They are available on the website, and thank you very much for that. They map all the needs of, as much as possible, of the patient community representing one specific syndrome or one specific disease. So we have already 5 patient journeys, but we can continue, we should continue updating this patient journey, and we can also work on new ones. And I'm thinking about, I know Carol, you also started to work on a version of the patient journey. I'm thinking about Jenny as well, maybe he's not here today, but he's also maybe willing to start working on that. Kasia maybe too. Thomas, I'm not sure because you're not really, presenting disease in particular, but this kind of activity is still very interesting to first to know what are the needs of your community, and second to engage with the clinicians on these needs. So I really, of course, very happy to support you on that. And what we can do with the existing 5 patient journeys, so I'm thinking about Sue, of course, Gabor, Dorika, Ami, and Yvonne, of course, but she's not here. Maybe what we can do is start to think about mapping what the ERN ITHACA has been doing or is doing right now, is developing, to cover the gaps that you have in your patient journey. But this is something we can think about together, and maybe next year to try to, if you find this interesting, to do this kind of mapping of the resources developed by the ERN ITHACA to cover the needs that you have identified in your patient journey. And what we also will be doing next year is, together with, maybe, of course, with you, Anne, and with the support of the other EPACs, is to continue to map this wider EPAC community by disease grouping. Also, maybe in alliance, in liaison with the national alliances, to make sure we know who are this patient community, we make sure we are in contact, we are connected to them, and we make sure we engage basically with them. So this is also something I'm sure we'll, we have started, and I'm sorry because we've been a little bit delaying this activity, but this is, of course, one of the priorities.
It's right, and maybe some of you did remember, but in June, I did make a mail to all the healthcare providers, the coordinator of expert center in Europe, and they were all known of patient organization involved in their center. And I think that's a very good entrance.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we have to study it again and again. It's normal.
Yeah, this is something, this again on an ongoing process, the same as a patient journey. We can start with having a very, updating and identify this community, but this can evolve, of course, according to also the diseases that are included in the network. So this is something that, we really need to consolidate and to continue working on that. And there is a comment, from Sandrine on the chat. Could we see the 5 patient journeys? So yes, of course, I think we sent it already to everybody, but we can send it again. And in any case, if you go to the ITHACA website, there is a section on patient journey. Later on, I will look it for you, and I will send it to you. And you can also take a look at it.
It is downloadable from there.
Sorry, Gabor?
You can download the 5
exactly.
patient journeys from the homepage.
Absolutely.
You really, just to add for the website, you really need to register to the website, because you have what is visible on the public side, and you have much more information on the private section, which is only open to our members. So you should register. I've already told you, and I say it again, you're very welcome to join.
Okay. So, and Anne, can I also join? Can I also register?
I'm not really sure about you.
Yeah,
Yes, you're welcome.
No, but of course I understand. So
no, it's just a joke.
Okay, I'm just give you now on the chat the link to where, so if you want to register, so it's there. And what else? Yes, and the patient journey, what I will do is, yeah, I will also share you the link to the website.
Yeah, you have everything on the open side of the website. So all the patient journey are. Sarah Aslanian, our community manager, has made a fantastic work on the website. So it has a lot of improvement in the last 6 months. Super. And it's not finished yet. We know the scope of ITHACA network. We know the scope of the disease. But I remember our last patient council meeting, you asked me, what is the scope? The page is empty. And I said, it's like 5,000 of disease. So we're not going to list it the 5,000, but we might list it the few first hundreds and the most common, or we still have to make not a choice because every disease is important, but it's quite difficult. But we already done it because recently we have provided on the private section many new disease provided by Raoul Enkelman. Yeah. So there is a lot of resource now. Sorry, Dorica.
It means that we just need 4,900 something patient journeys.
No. Now, maybe you do some transversals one, because we know that in some disease there is, and I think that's a very good point for ITHACA and the patient council will be to think about, like when we talk on intellectual deficiency, you have many disease who cover that. So maybe it's transversal skills. That's what we do in the work group now in the new ID group. We have divided in 2 parts. One will be mild disease, mild ID, and the other will be profound ID. So, you know, you have an idea of what you can work on the patient journey. That's just to give an idea.
Okay.
I sent to you on the chat the link to first register on the ITHACA website, and second to look at the patient journey that you have the info.
Yeah, that was useful tools. You know, the second slide we had on the PowerPoint was about those tools to use, and you're very welcome. And I know the European one, the ECP, collaborative platform, is not very. It doesn't look very nice, but it's good to be also register on it.
Yeah, this one is the European platform. When you can also find documents and report deliverables from the network. Okay, do you have any questions? You know, Carol, Sandrine, Kasia, I mean, we can, you know, have a discussion another day and to look at the patient journey if you want to continue or to work on this new activity. This is something we can do together. And again, we can, and for the 5 existing patient journeys, we can think about what to do next with this. Or maybe also you are interested in engaging with more patient organization in Europe, and you might be also interested in updating what you've done. I think it was 2 years ago, really. So what it was very interesting and what you did, and this is for the new the new people here today, based on these 5 patient journeys, they have developed the common needs across these 5 patient journeys. And this was, they've made a poster. It was presented in a European conference. I think it was this year. Yeah. You have the link also on the chat. You can take a look at it, and you can see that in the end, it's true that even if the disease is really different of the syndrome, there are some similarities or common needs that have been identified, and I think you can also take a look at it, and I'm sure for the other disease you can also identify you, and in the future we can of course update this document according to the new needs and the new diseases.
But so, actually, Hello.
Yes, Carol.
Yes, I found the. I had a look. I did browse my my email, and I found again like patient journeys. I shall update it as far as the ADNP is concerned, because the thing is that patient journeys don't have to be too personal. And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, like the ADNP patient journey was too personal. So I need like to be more general, so as to cover the scope of the syndrome.
Absolutely, Carol. Absolutely. Very good point. It is, as you said, it's not a personal, it can be based on you can do first your own patient journey based on your own experience as a patient, or as a mother, as a father, as a family or carer living with the people with rare disease. But this can be the starting point, but then it has to be broader, and it has to represent the collective perspective from the patient community, ideally from a wide range of different patient organizations representing these diseases across different countries in Europe, really to make sure that you represent the collective view and not only your personal perspective. That's really, really the added value of having this patient journey at European level. But you can start, and you can see on the website, one, for instance, when they have started the 5 existing patient journeys, they have been developing maybe only with 2 patient representatives and patients and families. So others have been developing with a little bit more, 6 patients in different countries. So ideally, it should be, including more and more patients and families to, as Carol said, to really represent the collective views. But you can start doing your own patient journey, and based on that, you share it with your community, with your network, with your patients and families, and they can update it based on their own experiences. Okay, but we can have another call on that. But that's I think that's an interesting activity. I think
we could maybe organize, even if it's not in your bi-monthly call, but we could organize a call inside of ITHACA for the patient journey. What do you want to build? You have already built 6 or 7 different diseases, but now we can build transversal one, maybe on ID, maybe on, I don't know what. We could make a specific brainstorming working group.
Absolutely. Good. Yeah, I think the next one.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is about conducting the patient engagement framework. So I just wanted to say, and it was also decided. It was decided like 2 years ago, but it was very, very clear that we need to set up a working group on communications activities, and it was clear from the last annual meeting with all the IPAC advocates in November. So what we're going to do early in there is a mistake, it's not 2020, but it's 2021. The beginning of next year, we're going to set up a transversal IPAC working groups. So we will organize a call. We will invite different IPAC advocates who are interested in joining this working group. So we across the 24 IPACs. And the goal of that is really to exchange across the different groups and to define their own communication strategy. So we're going to develop templates, tools, methods, everything you can use to engage with your groups and to engage with your patient community. So this is happening, and this will start the first Q1 in 2021. And the second one is, you might know that we've been granted, almost the 24 networks have been granted with a new H2020 project, ERICA, on research and innovation capacities. Eurordis is also a member of this new project, and we will coordinate the participation of IPACs in different work packages. So what we're going to do is to engage with all of you, to contact you every time we need your support or we need your collaboration, in particular in the structure of the patient engagement in clinical trial design. This is something we will probably need your support on this. And there are all the kind of activities that will also need the support of the patient groups. So this will be organized through another transversal working group on research internally within the EPAC. It's coordinated by Virginie Groswasser, one of my colleagues at Eurordis, the scientific director. So she will be managing this, but of course I will be, as I'm supporting you, I will be your contact point as well, if you want to participate or if we need your feedback at some point. Any question here? We can continue maybe?
Yeah, the only thing is you take the time and we need the time, so we have to share the involvement.
Absolutely.
Are you going to provide some new training for new EPACs? Because, you know, this world is quite large, and we talked last time with Amy about like kind of a mandatory to help new EPAC coaching. It's needed really, because they really need to know where they go and where they can provide their energy and all their skills.
Yeah, so I think here there are two aspects. First is the kind of this induction call to train, I mean, to inform the new EPACs how this work and how everything is organized and so on, which is more broad and general. Then the second one is about what you said, Anne, and what we were discussing the other day in the call about having a kind of mentoring or mentoring program within each of the EPACs. And this has to be set up in each of the EPACs according to the needs of the groups, and to have, for instance, I'm thinking about the new EPACs, they could have someone as a mentor, as a coach, or as a contact point in case, you know, to debrief a little bit on the activities, to answer questions, or if these new people are a little bit lost because it's still a lot of information to digest and to understand, and etc. So it's a process, and we understand it's not easy at the beginning. So we can think about that, having this kind of more individual support. And on top of that, but which is not related to the role of the EPAC and your role in the network, but is more about training on soft skills, is a leadership school program. And Anne, maybe you can, I don't know if this is my second slide or the
You want me to?
Yes.
On the next one?
The next one.
That's this one?
Another one, sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, exactly.
Leadership school, yes.
Exactly. So we also do support capacity building for patient engagement. And in this case, we're going to launch the third edition of the Eurordis Leadership School in Q2, so the middle of next year. And here we will provide, so EPAC Advocate, we are interested in taking part of this training. It's 1 year training, kind of intense with several, and I know Dorica has been active, and I think Sue as well, if I'm not mistaken. So you can apply to this new leadership school, and you can improve your skills. It's more about soft skill, transversal skills around, you know, how to communicate, how to be a good leadership as an EPAC advocate, how to improve as well research and innovation knowledge, etc., etc. So this is another kind of training available for the EPAC advocates. And what we're going to do as well, we continue, of course, to exchange good practices across the 24 EPACs, and we will organize 3 or 4 times every year this exchange of good practices. So you can also take a look at the Eurordis website. I will put the link afterwards. We've been doing this, I think, the past 3 years, and we have already a pool of different topics that we've been exchanging across the 24 EPACs. It is about the patient journey, for instance, or how they have developed the patient journey. It is about registries as well, how patients have been involved in the definition and in the task of registry. It is about how to collaborate and engage with the national alliances, etc., etc. So very large different set of topics that you can take a look. You can also listen to the video, the recording, etc. That can give you a little bit of also knowledge and information about what the IPACs are doing in the ERNs. And we will also do the annual meeting next year, every year, and the steering committee annual meeting as well, of course. So I think that's all. I think it was my last slide. If you can go back to the previous one.
Yeah, I think that was the last one. Yeah,
the previous one. Yes, it was just about, exactly.
No, that's second one. This one or the next one? The next one. It's about this one. Yeah. This
one, exactly. Measuring is just to finish in to let you know that we will, and Dorica will explain you what we've done with the IPAC impact assessment framework. So we've been implementing the pilot, testing the pilot this year. We're gonna finalize it and we will produce a final report, including some recommendations on the measures and so on early next year. And then we will refine, of course, based on this pilot, we will refine this framework, the measures and collaboration that will be wonderful with the clinicians, but of course with the input of all of you. And we will see if we can extend to the other IPACs, of course, the ones who are willing to do that. So it's really, but I'm not presenting anything because Dorica will do it, so you will understand what it's about. And that's it. I don't know if you have any specific questions or comments. No? Otherwise, I think we can move on.